Good morning, everybody. The title of our devotional this morning is The Lies of the Enemy. And I'm sitting here looking through the headlines this morning. This comes from the New York Post. San Francisco street ambassador shot dead while confronting drug user outside of a library. They called him a street ambassador. He had just turned his life around after spending 23 years in prison, was shot dead by a man he asked to stop using drugs outside of a public library. The Bible also tells us that the love of many will wax cold. It's definitely waxing cold. And apparently yesterday, this also from the New York Post, a hole opened up in the street of New York, giving a look down into the subway. It was near Battery Park. And apparently it wasn't a street, it was a sidewalk, had apparently a small sinkhole or something, and you could see down into the subway. I was like, oh, okay. That's always good when you're walking by. It's kind of funny and not funny at the same time. France's debt crisis is worse than China's mortgage collapse. China had a huge mortgage company that collapsed years ago, or not years ago, started years ago. Where they were going in and actually building ghost cities, which means they would go in and build these big old apartment buildings and business centers and all that, but nobody would occupy them. So they were just, the government was paying them to go in there and build these things, and they were leveraging the debt and all kind. It was a big Ponzi scheme, is what it actually was. Musk tweets wipe 15 billion off Netflix value. I don't know what that is. Putin offers a peace deal to the West. Will it accept? I hope they do. I'm just going through some of them. Apparently, India is now going to get involved in exploring the Arctic with Russia. You know, Russia's laid a lot of claims to different parts of the Arctic because it doesn't technically belong to anybody. So they have laid a lot of different claims, Russian claims to it, and then America started laying claims to theirs. And Elon Musk becomes the first person worth $500 billion. It's a staggering amount of money. And what that is he doesn't have $500 billion cash laying around. They take all his assets, put a value on them, and say, hey, he's worth this amount of money. Um, so that's how they arrived at that. America extended a security guarantee to the country of Qatar, um, where the Hamas leaders were. Israel um, killed a bunch of the Hamas leaders. And so the U.S., because I know that Trump said that Netanyahu had to apologize to them, or however that transpired, but he ended up apologizing to them, saying, "Hey, we violated your sovereignty in this, and didn't consult you, whatever that sounded like." But and they were talking about the peace deal. The Hamas still has not accepted with Israel. It was proposed. There were a lot of people that were backing it, but nothing. They haven't really accepted anything yet. Hamas says they haven't even seen the deal, so they say we don't even know what the deal is. It was just kind of thrown out there. My point in reading some of those headlines was the lies of the enemy. And in 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace, peace, sudden destruction comes upon them. And we're talking about the lies of the enemy with our daily devotional this morning. And that's from the that's from King James Version, or from the King James Bible. My point behind that is, a lot of times when we read these headlines, we can go through news aggregate after news aggregate, and a lot of times the headlines are deceptive. A lot of times they are, they put a spin on it. The article puts a spin on it. I'm not saying there's not truth in the article. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you read through this stuff, don't read just one website. Make sure that you read several different ones, because depending on who writes it, who does what, they may be trying to get you to slant one way or slant the other way. The other part about that is we read I try to find as many good stories as I can. There's not a lot of them out there, or not a lot that are being reported anyway. But the other part of this is, are they just telling you what you want to hear? Or is that what's actually happening? Remember, the whole world lies in the evil one. The whole world lies with the lie of the devil. He confronted Eve in the Garden of Eden and said, "You will not die if you eat the fruit." Well, was it a physical death? Well, it was a physical and a spiritual death. So did he lie to her? Sure he did. And I don't remember who said it, but I heard Pastor Langford say many times, you are never closer to the devil, or never more like the devil than when you lie. So we always want to make sure that we are living in the light and living in the truth of whatever's going on, good or bad. Jesus said, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. We all need to unplug every once in a while. We all need to do that and get away. But that doesn't mean we can totally turn our face to it either. So let's talk about our devotional this morning. In our times of trial, Satan comes to us and brings lies. You are surrounded with no way out. Greater servants than you have quit in circumstances no worse than this. Now it's your turn to go down. You're a failure, otherwise you wouldn't be going through this. There is something wrong with you and God is greatly displeased. How many of us felt that way? In the midst of his trial, I'm trying to pronounce his name, King Hezekiah acknowledged his helplessness. The king realized he had no strength to stop the voices raging in him, the voices of discouragements, threats, and lies. He also knew he could not deliver himself, so he sought the Lord for help. Are you seeking the Lord for help? It's a simple question. But remember this, in seeking the Lord for help, you've also got to have the other part of that, meaning you've got to have the Lord with you. We talk about this all the time. You can't be living like hell and then start praying and expect the Lord to do something with you, knowing fully well that you're going to go back and do the same thing again. It doesn't work that way. God answered by sending the prophet Isaiah to Hezekiah with his message, the Lord has heard your cry. Now tell Satan standing at your gate, you are the only one who's going down. You are going to turn around and go back the very way you came. And that's exactly what he did. Hezekiah had very nearly fallen for the enemy's trick. The same is true for multitudes of Christians under attack today. If you do not stand up for Satan's lies, stand up to Satan's lies, if in our hour of crisis we do not turn to faith and prayer and draw strength from God's promise of deliverance, the devil will zero in on your wavering faith and intensify his attacks. Is that easy? No, it's not. It's very hard because that attack comes harder and harder and harder, and the oppression and Christians can be oppressed, not possessed. If you're a true Christian, you can't be possessed. We say, oh, he was a Christian and he got possessed by the devil. No, he wasn't a Christian if he did. He wasn't a true follower. But you can be oppressed. You can have that weight put on your back, and the devil will just keep dropping weight on you and dropping weight on you and dropping weight on you. Hezekiah gained courage from the word he received. He was able to say no in uncertain times. Devil, you did not blaspheme me. You lied to God himself. My Lord is going to deliver me, and because you blaspheme him, you will face his wrath. The Bible tells us that God supernaturally delivered Hezekiah and Judah on the very night. It came to pass on a certain night that the angel of the Lord went out and killed in the camp of the Assyrians 185,000 people. 2 Kings 19:35. Judah didn't do anything. God's angel went out and did it. 185,000. He killed them all. Though the bloodshed of Jesus Christ, we already have victory over every sin, temptation, and battle, and over the enemy's lies. The devil lies to us and puts in our brain that we are smarter than God. I had a comment left on the channel that this gentleman said that I was like every other Christian and I was the blind leading the blind. And the inference is that I had my head stuck in the sand and the only thing I followed was the Bible, and that was not the true life or true word of life, or however you want to say that. That is the lies of the devil. Is what that is. The true word of life is in the 66 canonized Bibles, or books of the Bible. That's all it is. It's not difficult. It's not hard to understand. There is no hidden meanings. There is no hidden message. But in our hubris, in our arrogance, and in the lies that the devil tells us, there's more. There's a secret message in there. God is going to reveal it to you. There's a secret word. Read this book. Look over here. Look over there. They're all lies. And if you truly read the word, and if you truly pray and love God, you'll quickly find there is nothing else. This is it. This is all I need. I'm a history guy. I've said that before. I'm a history teacher. So I like to know why they did things in history. You know, how did the Egyptians build the pyramids? The Great Pyramid of Giza, Pharaoh Khufu. His pyramid is over 500 feet tall. It's like 2 football fields wide. It's a massive, massive structure that was built around 4000 BC or whatever it was. I'll have to look up the exact date. I don't remember off the top of my head. I want to know how they built that thing. But it doesn't revolve around salvation. And a lot of people want to, and I'm using that as an example, a lot of people want to make it that way. And that's not what it was. I don't know who built the pyramids. People say the Egyptians did, you know, the aliens built them, whatever. Nobody knows for sure. A lot of speculation, a lot of theories. Nobody knows. Not 100%. We can find evidence of this and evidence of that, but truly how something was done 5,000 years ago is very difficult for us to figure out. My point behind all that is, don't fall into the trap of running down these rabbit holes and in the lies of what the devil is telling you. Pick up your Bible. Repent from whatever it is you've got in your life. And follow what Jesus tells us. You know, the Old Testament of the Bible is a historical marker of God for us. The New Testament is what we follow. You don't have to follow the 600 and some odd laws of the Quran or of the Torah. We're not Jewish. The veil was broken. It was split. Jesus fulfilled the law with his blood. There is no more law. You are saved by grace through Jesus to the Father. It's not any more complicated than that. It's not any more simple than that. That's what it is. But people don't want to hear that. They like the lie. So if you're talking to somebody and that's what they start talking about, like, yeah, okay, well, here's the truth. If you don't want to accept the truth, then you go your way and I'll go mine. Because that's what the truth of it is. Stop accepting the lie. Stop trying to find the lie. And a lot of it is we're trying to find it. We're smarter than God. We need to know this. I'm not saying we shouldn't go dig up the past, because I love it. archaeology, history. I mean, I'm a historian, so I love that stuff. But I don't love it to the point of I'm going to believe all the lies of, well, this is the hidden message in here, and here's the hidden code in this, and here's all this kind of stuff because it falls into a historical realm. Here's the Bible. Everything goes back to what can I track it back to the Bible with? And that's what we need to do. A little bit of a rant. I apologize. I do, but I don't. Y'all have a great day. I'm going to jump off of here, go walk the dog. Y'all pray, prep, and train. Try to prep something today. I don't care what it is. Everything's going to come down to the food in the end. It all comes down to food. It always does. Food and water. If you have those two things, you can kick the can down the road a long ways. Prep something today. We'll try to do a Bible study this weekend. Finish up Matthew. And y'all have a wonderful day. May God guide your steps. Talk to you later.